how do drones help determine the best placement for solar panels to actually maximize the efficiency?
Maxifies. I like that. That is definitely a
Maximize.
great one.
What did I say?
Maximize.
Did I say maxifies? You know, I'm going to
Yeah.
stick with that. I like that. Maxifies. How do you maximize the efficiency? I love it.
Yes. So basically, with drones taking 300 photos instead of just one satellite straight down or a tilted angle image, we are able to produce a 3D copy of your house and the surroundings. Okay. So what we're looking at is not just a dirt plot that hasn't been built out yet, or a roof that just has the paper protecting and not the shingles yet because you're halfway through building. I've seen
Mhm.
that. What are the problems there? Vents, obstructions, things in the way, not even knowing what the roof shape looks like if you are just looking at a plot of dirt. Okay. So the accuracy of how you're doing that design really comes into play when you have the most up to date and detailed imagery, both say satellite and drone imagery, because then you can see, okay, I should probably put the solar panels here, 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 and avoid the vent that is here, here, and here, as well as each jurisdiction, AHJ, authority having jurisdiction, when you go to do your permits, is going to tell you that you have to have certain offsets from either the bottom or the ridges or the top for fire. Basically, having the ability for safety and letting the firefighters get up onto the top of the roof. So each jurisdiction's a little bit different, and being able to make sure that you have the proper measurements helps provide you an accurate design when you go, okay, we can do 12 panels on the top and 8 panels on the second row, but you mismeasured, and now you can only fit 10 panels on the bottom row and 6 panels on the side. Well, now you got to go talk to the customer and go, hey, we screwed up. Why'd you screw up? Well, we didn't do our job right or whatever. Well, now that's moving the panel over to the other side or somewhere else. If it's a different azimuth facing, if that one side was facing south and the other two sides of your house are facing east and west, those panels are going to, on the east and west, are going to produce less than the panels on the south. Another way that the drones can help here is with obstructions and shading. You have vents, and you want to make sure that you're moving the panels around so that you're not covering the vents. But then you also have satellite dishes, chimneys, trees, just general stuff in the way of the sun hitting your roof, like your neighbor's house. That might be 2 stories and you have 1 story. Okay. Or I don't know, up north, not in Florida. We have up in north, they have mountains. So if you're on the north side of a mountain, you're not getting as much sun as the other side of the mountain. So the drones allow us to do the 3D map and view shed to provide an animation of where the sun is going to be from January to December, from morning to evening, and show how the sun and the shade is going to go over your house. So say you got your house, you just built this brand new house, awesome, and you want to have some shade in the yard and some awesomeness as far as nature. Well, where do you put those trees? Do you put them on the north side of the house? Do you put them on the south side of the house? If they're already there, what effect do they do with the shading of your roof? And avoid the panels, placing panels that are going to be completely shaded by trees and obstructions, and maximize the production by using this view shed of where all the sun is really hot and where the sun is really not, to make the best designs and production proposals for your customers.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What are like specific factors you're looking for to determine if a site is actually a good candidate for solar? So, what are like the key qualities that you're looking for?
A lot of times, and we kind of talked about this a little bit, a lot of the key points that we look for is, one, you have to own your roof. So if you have an apartment complex, multiple dwelling unit, you don't own your roof. Unfortunately, right now, the solar technology is just getting into balcony placed solar. It doesn't really offset your utility usage yet. But if you own your roof and you have plenty of room to install solar panels, for example, a solar panel is typically 4 foot by 6 foot, unless you go with a solar shingle, which there are definitely really nice ones coming out. Those solar panels, 4 foot by 6 foot, only fit on certain roof styles. If you have a ton of different angles and dormers and shapes and customizations in your roof, it makes it very difficult for you to fit big rectangular solar panels on your roof. Also, the type of roof. Your best type is going to be standing seam metal roofs, asphalt shingles. The other types of metal roofs are usable, but we like to not have any penetration. So that's where the standing seam metal roof works, and some tile roofs also. We try to stay away from any like clay or slate tile because they end up being very brittle. But in some markets that works. Most of the time, the roof structure, making sure that it can handle a 40 pound panel. Like if you're comfortable with standing on your roof, most likely you have a roof that is structurally sound enough for solar placement. We also look for the vents and any obstructions, trees in the near surroundings of your house and your neighbors' houses, as far as where is it going to cause shading and issues as far as pollen. And then the other side of things, as far as what determines how many panels you need or how many panels you can use on your house, is going to be the amount of circuits available in your main electric panel, the size of your main electric panel as far as amperage, so that you go along with NEC code, National Electric codes, and your usage. The main point of what you're trying to do with solar is provide yourself the electricity that you make and use right now versus being dependent and renting electricity from the powers that be, the grid.
And when it comes to the powers that be, that's one of the things I'm really surprised didn't mention yet is the local legislation and restrictions. You want to talk a little about that as far as the mass variations between different jurisdictions?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So when I moved down here to Florida in 2019, I found out the hard way that the local utility company has changed their net metering rules. What does that mean? Basically, like gross accounting and net accounting. The meter that you have on your house right now just goes forwards. If you're not using power, it stops. A net meter also goes backwards. So during the day, your solar system produces power on a curve based off of how much solar you have and how sunny it is versus cloudy. That curve is different than your usage of electricity. So there will be times where you're making more power than you're using. Where does that electricity go? Typically, with net metering or NEM1, the old school way, it was a fair credit of 1 kilowatt hour, 1 unit of electricity goes out to the grid, and they sell it to your neighbor for full price. And you get a little credit. And then later, when you need electricity, nighttime, cloudy days, stuff like that, you can use that credit without having at full value for that electricity, a kilowatt hour of electricity. What the local utility company did here was change to a net metering 2.0 because they are community owned and not for profit. What they have done has switched the exported cost. Basically, if you're making excess energy, to the fuel rate, which is a fraction of the cost of the entire levelized cost of electricity. So if you're getting electricity from the utility company, it's $1. But if you're giving electricity to the utility company, they're giving you 25 cents on the dollar.
Wow.
So it's not fair. And
Yeah.
California has been going this way. Arizona, the utility companies have been pushing against solar customers that have already had solar installed. And the reason being is a lot of misinformation. The utility companies don't want to lose control. And what they're saying is that the more people that do solar in a community, the people that have not gone solar, that are still grid connected, have to bear the weight of all of the extra costs and fees. And those people that have gone solar aren't paying their fair cost. I've never seen that with any other kind of industry here in the United States. And so those kind of concepts are where the utility companies are pushing back against homeowners and people actually owning their own systems versus renting power from them. And that has caused a lot of mistrust in the industry. That has caused a lot of return on investment for people that used to have net metering 1.0. Now going solar isn't as easy. Now you have to look at more of the return on investment, battery storage, keeping the energy at the house versus pushing it out to the grid. So
Yeah.
everything is changing and is dynamic.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And One of the things that's also really interesting to me is like it's not just broken down by states or counties. It's like, and you can explain a lot better than I can, but like it's really a, different neighborhoods may have different policies. Is that a fair statement?
Yes. And it's very
Yeah.
difficult to see where the lines are. For example, here where I live, there is a very thin stretch of land in Nassau County where we have FP&L, and the island has a different utility company, but those two utility companies have one-to-one net metering. But then for the next 60 miles is Jacksonville, Florida, and their utility company is everything of Jacksonville, but you don't know where the utility company ends. You, where the utility company ends on my side is the difference between a river or a creek. The difference on the south side of the town or city is a specific road. So if you're on one side of the road, the north side of the road, you have JEA. If you're on the south side of the road, you have SPNL. But that's just one portion of it. That's the utility company. You have to get an interconnection agreement through, meaning going back and forth, being interconnected between your power plant, the solar system, and their power plant, the grid. Okay. The other side is your building departments, the authorities having jurisdiction. Your building department, you have to get a building permit to do solar, to get a shed, to do anything on your house. Okay. Solar is one of those things where each jurisdiction has different rules. Like I said earlier, the fire setbacks are not consistent across the country. The way that solar systems are connected to the grid is not consistent around the country. And how easily you can add battery storage to a solar PV system and where you have to put that battery or how many bullards or fire suppressant things changes with every jurisdiction. So in Jacksonville, there's 4 or 5 different jurisdictions inside of that utility company. So there's 2 different permits that you have to go to many different agencies. And if you don't understand the differences in each of these jurisdictions, the person that is providing you that proposal as the homeowner, if they don't understand that, they may not be giving you the accurate information.
It's people are put into agreements that it may not have been in the best interest for them. Is that fair to say? Like, yeah, a lot of times that happens.
I
So
would say it's not a lot. Hopefully, it's not a lot, but there's way too many times here in Florida. There's way too many times around the country where the sales side of the industry has taken advantage of the homeowner or the property owner. And I have done the analysis on some of those systems where they promised XYZ, they promised the world for this person, and it wasn't delivered. What was delivered was underperforming and wasn't matching what their actual usage was. What happened was the solar salesperson went in and said, instead of you using 300, say, kilowatt hours of electricity or $300 of electricity, it was $187, slightly different. So the average was lower, and he could propose a smaller system by 1/3 to do the same kind of offset that everybody else was saying would take 22 more panels. So their system was
got it.
cheaper, but had the same offset.